Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I am going to be discussing a very important topic. This is going to be probably one of the most important topics I have discussed on this channel. The reason I want to discuss this is for all the young viewers out there, or all the people that just need a little bit of sense of motivation in terms of building your credit report. So first we're going to discuss what exactly is credit, right? So as we know it, credit is basically what most companies use to determine your eligibility and basically buying stuff or financing something. So it's basically your own history report on how you basically pay something back, right? So let's say you borrow $200 and it's not your $200, so you do have to pay that back. Well, basically how the credit works is just analyzing how you paid that back, timing on which you paid it back, and give you a score based on that. So, and a lot of things go into play as well when it comes to your credit score, such as probably some debts you may have. If you're a college student like me, you would have a lot of student debt, depending on your major, or let's say maybe you have a car loan. These are things that's going to be reported to your credit report, or just different things. So in terms of probably, let's say you got a credit card and you have a limit of 300 or 500. The credit is something you do have to pay back. You can't just swipe the credit card and use it, and it's free for all. So typically how it works is that you do pay that credit back when you do have the money. So basically how that works is, normally when you do have a credit card, you pay that money back to the actual credit card company. Now the thing is that, you never want to go under the assumption that, okay, this is a free for all situation. I have free money to spend. Delete that thought out of your head, because that is going to really become your reality if you think, okay, I am rich because I have a $500 credit limit. As someone that has done it before, I can basically tell you that is not the way to go when you're in terms of trying to build your credit. So guys, we're going to get into all of that today. So basically, that is just the gist of what credit is. Credit determines what you can afford, in terms of probably buying a home, or if you want to finance a car, or, if you want to, buy something luxury, or, just finance anything basically. That's where your credit score comes into play. So I'm going to give you guys some ways on how you can actually build your credit. So first things first, if you're new to credit, you don't know what credit is, definitely talk to a financial advisor or a banker about credit. And you want to kind of start off with a secured credit card. That way, it's a small balance that you can afford to pay back. Because I know if you go with one of those really large American Express cards, you may not qualify for that if you don't already have pre-existing credit. So a lot of those really major credit card companies like Capital One, Discover, or American Express, they want to see that you already have background in credit. So it's so important that you know that you do have to start somewhere in terms of the credit report. And the best way to do that is just simply getting a secured credit card. So that is some of the options there. I'm going to give you guys some of the company names I went with when I started trying to build my credit. OpenSky.com is a really good one. CreditOne.com is really good. They give you, I think, a $300 limit, and then based on how you pay them back, that can increase to $500 or even $1,000. So you get little perks as well with that. So I think that's awesome. And then you can progress into one of those bigger, major, well-known credit cards that don't have an annual fee. So the thing about that, the little con there, is that once you do go with those secured credit cards, they do have a higher annual rate, and the interest is not as bad. You really just have to differentiate and assess the ones you go with. But overall, there's no way to get away from that annual fee you're going to pay. Some run from $75, some run to $100. So it just really depends. But to get your feet wet, to just start off getting some sort of report, you do have to start off with the credit card. That would be the first option. No lender is going to trust you. No one's going to know your history on how you pay things back. Even if you're really good in paying your rent on time and you don't miss payments, that is not sufficient enough for any major lender like a car dealer or a loan officer to even get you assessed and good, you know, in the system. So you do have to start off with your first credit card and take that toll. So it is kind of like an investment, but you're investing in your own self. Look at it that way. Like, yeah, you're paying $75 a year. Yeah, you do have to spend some money you probably don't want to. You have to use your credit card, but that is the basics of it. That's the point. You know, you never want to just live off of your credit card. So there is a limitation requirement there. You're only supposed to utilize 0 to 30% of your credit card amount. So you're not supposed to splurge, go shopping, free for all. No. Once you do that, and then it's like you don't have the money to pay it back, that goes against you. That goes into your credit report. You know, if you miss the payment, that's a negative remark as well. So different things can really kind of go into play with your credit and just kind of tell the kind of person you are. Just literally, guys, it's the reality of it. It's a society we live in. You know, your credit score is what is going to basically determine what kind of person you are. You know, like, I don't know. It really goes in. It's a really weird way, but it works. Whoever invented a credit score is ingenious. And yeah, it really gives you insight on who you are as a person. So guys, I also want to touch base on how you can go from a low score to a high score in a matter of a year, right? So, and this is like, even if you do have student debt, I'm going to point out some ways and some tips on how you can really get a good credit score to where you can be good, considered a good person, I guess, financially in society. So yes, as you guys know, I was in my nursing program and I still have some student loans left over. They're not fully paid off. Financial aid took care of some and I had to get a loan for part of the rest. So that wasn't fun, but it's something, you know, I had to do. So guys, once I was done with that, I felt like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to buy a home. I'm not going to be able to even get my dream car. Like, no one's going to trust me. Oh my God. So I was wrong. I was completely wrong. The reason why I was wrong was because I had 3 credit cards that I was using and I was living off of it because, of course, in college, you know, you don't have enough money. There's nothing to really, you don't have any kind of money or savings that you can just splurge and go free for all. So guess what I did? I was living off of my 3 credit cards that had a credit limit of $800. Bad idea, guys. So what that did for me was really bring down my credit score to like a 550. And guys, you know, that is a bad credit score. So let me go over the gist of what good and bad credit is. So a good credit score, I would say, basically starts off right about 650 and up. If you're between 650 and 850, with 850 being the highest, you're good. You're in a good credit score bracket. If you are under 620 and below, so if you're, I guess it starts off at 400. So if you're 400 to 620, really consider what you're doing wrong and look at your credit report, because that's going to tell you, and it's also going to tell lenders the kind of shopper you are, how you live your life and things like that. It really has a way of just telling on you. So really dive into your credit report and see what it is that you're doing wrong. Are you overspending on your credit? Do you have a high utilization rate? Do you have some student loans you haven't paid off? Do you have a derogatory remark, or do you have like severe hard inquiries? Now, the thing with hard inquiries, they don't really count, I would say, too much against you. They have a low impact onto your credit score. But really major things like swiping your credit card, shopping here, shopping there, and not being realistic with yourself and paying that back on the due date is what's going to be a dagger to you. Lenders are going to see that as being irresponsible. You know, you don't pay people back. You know, who's going to trust you to give you a loan? No one. So it's so important that you do know what really has a great impact on your credit score and what doesn't. Now, for me, I like to just be safe and play it safe all the way. So no hard inquiries. I'm very picky about who goes through my credit report, especially if I didn't ask for it. I just really try to pay attention, especially if I'm applying for a new credit card or something like that. So pay attention to every single category on your credit report. Don't do one thing and, you know, feel like, don't mix match it. Just try to have a good history on everything, because guys, the reality of having a good credit score is that it leads into your success in life. Think about it. There's no way you can go ahead and just buy a home and get a loan for your home if you have bad credit. There's no dumb lender or loan officer out there that would just choose to trust you without you having a good credit score. So even that's the thing, even if you're like a millionaire, right? I think that's the only option to it. If you're a millionaire and you just want to go ahead and purchase your home, like literally, money is literally the only safe way out of it, into, I guess, having bad credit. So if you did want to go ahead and just purchase your house with cash, then I think that's the only way to go. But it's still always good to have a good credit score. I mean, come on. What about, if you want to go ahead and buy a really fancy car, or a car for you and your kids and your family, you go to a car dealer, they will run a credit report on you, and you will not get pre-qualified or be able to finance your car if you have bad credit and you live off of your credit card. So I do want to talk about that, living off your credit card. That is something you don't want to do. Like I said, your utilization should be 0 to 30%. So what that means is that you're not just swiping your card, right? You're using it for really big emergencies. So for instance, I'm going to describe a time that I almost ran out of gas in my car because I was just so busy. I had a busy day. I was up in here and there. So I ran out of gas. My credit card was convenient and I put gas into my car. Another instance, the Texas winter storm. I had to book a hotel and it wasn't my payday. So I'm not going to go into my savings account because that's eating off of my assets and decreasing that. So I used my credit card to book a 4-night stay at a hotel. And that was an emergency. We had no lights. So think about that. It's like, it has to be something dire. It has to be something really important and literally an emergency, because the thing is that lenders are going to see, okay, how long has she had good credit? How did she utilize her credit? And they're going to know if you're just living off of your credit card, if you're withdrawing funds out of that card, using it to pay rent. If you're not really organizing your finances, it's going to be hard for someone to trust you, especially if you start getting into if you start getting into delinquent payments, not paying things on time. Guess what happens? That counts against you. So always be diligent, always be just safe and assured that you're doing the right thing, especially when it comes to your credit. So guys, I'm going to explain to you how I increased my credit score. So basically last year when COVID hit, as you guys know in my previous video, I actually lost my job. So that was another emergency as well. I didn't have any funds, I didn't have any money, no savings. It was an emergency. So like literally months will come and go. I would swipe my card, go to grocery shopping. I would want to splurge on myself and buy myself some clothes, something nice. And I was not being financially responsible, and that really hit a dagger on me. So guys, I was not being financially responsible, and that really affected me negatively because my credit score went low, and it went all the way down to, I think, a 554. I'm going to actually show you guys a real view and a real report of my credit report basically a year ago, February 2020. So I was using my card. I didn't care. I didn't have a care in the world. I wasn't thinking about buying a home. I was being irresponsible. And yeah, I was using my card. And guys, that really, really hurt me. And yeah, I just wasn't being, prepared or responsible. So how I fixed that, right, is basically having to literally go into my savings and paying my debt, paying all of that credit card usage off, using my little funds I had in my savings. The reason I had to do that was because, literally I wasn't going to be able to purchase a home. I wasn't going to be able to purchase a car. If I wanted something really like fancy and designer, like a nice watch, I couldn't finance that. No one would trust me. So when it really starts to eat at you and you just feel like you're the lowest in society, it's like, okay, this is a reason, this is a motivation for me to go ahead and pay off my credit, put my girl pants on, and literally become responsible. So, I paid all of that off, and my score went up all the way up to 724. And I am going to show you guys that, like, even with student loans still on your report, I was still, even with still having that debt carrying over after school, I was still able to, literally get a good credit score, and I did not even think I was capable of that. So guys, it's just really important you believe in yourself, you pay off your debt, you don't leave your debt. No one wants to be in debt. You don't overuse your credit card is the most important thing I can say. Literally anything over 30%, that is a problem. That means you're living off of this, and you shouldn't do that. So it's so important you know the basics, the primaries, and what's really going to affect you, and just how to be financially smart. So go ahead and take a, oh. And guys, another thing is that my parents never, schooled me or advised me on what credit was. I had to be intelligent, use my common sense to know that, okay, credit is a trivial part of my life. And if I want the finer things in life, I'm going to have good credit, and I'm going to have to work hard for that. So really believe in yourself. It is possible to get, good credit once you do go from a bad place or coming from a bad score. And guys, even if you have student debt, like, of course, you don't want to be a dummy. Everyone's going to have to go to school and college once in their life and get an education. So of course, lenders are going to understand that. Yeah, you went to school and you had to get a loan out. That is not a really big deal, just as long as what's the major impact is that, your credit utilization, and, are you paying your credit cards on time? So you never want to have a late payment. So yeah, it's just little motivation there. I'm literally a girl coming from bad credit, and, this is now my new credit score, and like lenders trust me, and I can actually be able to finance really nice things that I like. So I am going to go ahead and show you guys the actual clips of my credit score a year ago and what it is today. So go ahead and take